you have to be consciously aware that there's been a lot of programming and agendas that have been shaping how we're brought up. You're terrified of certain diseases and certain, buzzwords that I won't even put on the podcast because it'll get us banned. But there's certain medical interventions that are very popular and pushed today, and you have to be okay questioning the status quo. I know that chiropractors are always going to be the underdogs. Like, that's just the system that we're in. We're a very new profession. We're relatively new, I should say. We're 120 years old, which, compared to Chinese acupuncture, we're newbies. The American Medical Association is more recent than that. And before them, homeopathy was kind of the status quo here in America. We had homeopathic ambulances, and every pharmacy would carry homeopathic remedies and things like that. And then Western medicine, what we think of when we talk about allopathic medicine or the American Medical Association, and I'm talking about medical doctors and doctors of osteopathy, essentially, DOs. That institution became very popular right around World War II, World War I, World War II. And it was because Congress allocated some funding from the GI Bill to send anybody who was coming home, from service. We can get them into medical schools. And American Medical Association approached the chiropractors and the osteopaths and said, hey, let's all do this together. We can join forces and take advantage of the GI funding to get a lot of doctors out there. And it was when chiropractors said, no, we're going to keep our autonomy. We're going to do our own thing. Osteopaths said, yeah, we'll join you. And so MDs and DOs kind of took off in one direction there. DCs, chiropractors like myself, we went a different route, and we grew further and further apart. It was kind of like two cousins that were estranged from their little redheaded stepchild over here with chiropractic. And so unfortunately, that's led to the big, what we call the schism today, where it's just this huge divide between the medical approach and the chiropractic approach. And with the thing that we were talking about earlier, how people are advancing, there's a lot of social media in the new media age. We're talking about things that work. And so you have a lot of crunchy moms on Facebook that are raving about chiropractic or whatever, or, cancer diagnoses and treatments and things like that people want to share. This is what's helping me. This is what's working well for me. We didn't have that before. The medical institutions, big pharma, big medicine, controlled big media and the legacy outlets. And so they could shape the messaging however they wanted. And they've used it to push prescriptions and intervention. Whereas the chiropractic philosophy inherently views the body as self-healing, self-regulating. And there's definitely a place for both. My niece, who I love to death, she's always going to have big pharma and medical intervention because of her genetic condition. I can't adjust a 15th chromosome into her body, but we can manage that with the miracle of modern medicine. I'm not anti-medicine, or I have great friends that are MDs and DOs, and I love the work that they do if their heart's in the right place. But that system is so prone to, and we've seen how it can be manipulated to control and to profit from people who are sick and hurting already.
Yeah, that's back to the institutions we were talking about.
Yeah.
And that's a fascinating history. I didn't know that's how
Most
things came about, that it was World War I, World War II, and Congress was funding this side of things, and the prescriptions and the interventions. And
there's a lot more to it. I've tried to reduce it, and my recollection of what I know of, the little bit that I've studied that, but I always wondered why we got here. Why are so many doctors and chiropractors at each other's throats? And I will say, just to continue that thought, I started into that thought, but a lot of the new graduates from medical programs that are hardcore medicine are more open to chiropractic and to homeopathy and holistic healing, I guess, if you want to call it that. Chiropractic is not homeopathy. A lot of people kind of conflate the two. And homeopathic medicine is its own branch of a study. And it has a very interesting philosophy that I love working with. I cross-refer to a brilliant homeopath that's in Texas. And so I believe in their institution. There's a time and a place for medical intervention. There's definitely a time for surgery and medicine. I'm glad we have that. But if you can prevent it from going that far, that's where I want to catch people on the front end of this whole process and either educate them about preventative wellness and the health benefits of regular chiropractic adjustments, or get them back on that path without drugs or surgery wherever possible. So I moved up here about 3 years ago, and that's where I see the bulk of my patients now. And I am a huge believer that earlier is better with the chiropractic. And so that's why between my niece being diagnosed at birth with her condition and the benefits that I believe neurologically that chiropractic affords, I want to catch these things as early as I can in the process.